Hey everyone, I'm Lynn.
And I'm Mark. We are data engineers that specialize in the Microsoft Fabric platform and AI. And we work with MSPs. We know that MSPs are busy and they recognize the importance of data engineering and AI, but they're just too busy to do everything and keep up with their day jobs.
Our clients are analysts, middle managers, and developers at these MSPs. They know that their data is a mess, and they know that they should be using a reporting analytics platform like Microsoft Fabric for better reporting, and that has these AI capabilities to it. Honestly, AI and data are both very overwhelming, and we totally get that. Even though we're technical people, we even find this stuff confusing as well.
So let's get started with a case study. All right, so we're going to be talking about tickets, ConnectWise tickets. And obviously there's a lot of data in tickets and time entries. So how are we going to manage this? So what's the architecture that we're looking at? So first of all, we're following a medallion architecture. And just like the Olympics, we've got bronze, silver, gold. And for this case study, we're ingesting data, and then we're going to go through a bronze silver transformation and get it ready for data visualization. So to be a bit more specific, we are using the Fabric copy job to bring in data from the ConnectWise reporting database on an incremental and scheduled basis. So that comes into a lakehouse. Then the magic happens with the notebook, where we interact with the Claude API. So first we upload the ticket data into Claude, and then we send a series of prompts and messages, which Lynn's going to talk about in a minute, and we get a result back. We put that result into a different lakehouse table, which comes into the semantic model, which is the basis for a report that we'll show you in a minute.
So with our current client, let's call her Susan, the billing process is painfully slow. It takes her 2 hours daily for manual review. She has to look at these service tickets from the service board. Then she has to look for each service ticket, the time entries that are attached to it. And then for each time entry, there are notes that she needs to take a look at and ensure that she needs to ensure that before they get invoiced to her client, that it's done correctly based on certain checks that she has to check for these errors, like security risk, exposing security credentials in the notes, like passwords, or billing error, incorrectly defining word types, because let's say client communication and remote support both bill differently. One rounds up, the other doesn't. These discrepancies are not edge cases, and they occur constantly. Susan had to catch every single mistake to prevent these client-facing issues, a mundane but essential operational review that consumes a significant portion of her workday. This is where the power of advanced AI is unlocked. We hand off the heavy lifting of the detection logic to Claude to analyze the time entry notes using sophisticated prompt and context engineering techniques. For example, we leverage AI to instantly scan for security credentials exposed in the ticket notes. The Claude model was able to analyze complex and varied note formats to detect credentials that a human reviewer, Susan, might easily miss. On a daily basis, Claude analyzes over 150 service tickets for this check in less than 5 minutes. This is a massive unlock. These types of checks save Susan approximately 2 hours of mundane operational review time per day, freeing her focus on more strategic tasks. The final results looks like this, and I pass it over to Mark.
Thanks, Lynn. So I mentioned the report earlier, the visualization. So this is a Power BI report. We're pulling the data from the lakehouse. And so Susan can come in here and use it to organize her work. So essentially we've got the ticket, the company, the subject, a bit of information about the time entry and the member. Then we get into the details. So notes, so there's a spelling and grammar check that results in these corrected notes. Those can be cut and paste directly back into ConnectWise. Then we've got different other data quality checks like password check, an overbill check. And then there's a link to click so that Susan can click directly back into ConnectWise and immediately apply the fix. So that's a little bit about this project. Just to make it a little less formal, Lynn, what did you find was the hardest part of this project, besides working with me?
Besides that, we had to basically work really closely with Susan to understand from all these mundane daily operational checks that she has to do to ensure that each line item that would get invoiced to her clients were done correctly. We had to focus on finding ways to prioritize 4 to 5 use cases that she would often encounter and find an easy way for it to show it to her to flag in that, for example, the Power BI report. So I think just prioritizing, because you can do many of these use cases, but the most important ones that Susan deals with on a daily basis, because she has such a plethora of knowledge of how to deal with them, was difficult in finding the right words.
Okay, thanks, Lynn. And for me, probably the hardest part was just balancing like the sort of the meticulous nature of data engineering with all the AI tools, which are much more flexible, but getting those to work together was quite tricky, and but quite rewarding as well when you can really unharness the power of AI. So anyway, thanks for watching.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.